think university is a time where you find yourself. This is a time where I've truly learnt my potential and what I'm capable of.
We had 24 students from the University of Newcastle come along to Borneo. We spent 3 days in the Borneo jungle and we looked at orangutans in their habitat. It was amazing.
The skills that I've gained over those years and even watched and reflected on how much I've learnt, it amazes me.
I'm the first one in my family to graduate. My dad always said to me, he said, only brain can make a man. That means only knowledge can make a man. And I always had, the voice of my dad in the back of my head, saying that I could do it. Graduation was a major achievement in my life.
I started the university as an able-bodied kid, and then I had an accident after my second year. So that dream as a young kid from a disadvantaged background of throwing that cap and gown into it almost puts a tear in my eye of having that sense of achievement.
I was doing some volunteer work. One of the volunteer boss said to me that if you really like helping people, why don't you become a nurse? I want graduates to be bold, be courageous, and be your best.
I think it is very important to focus on your purpose because there will be a lot of issues, a lot of challenges facing ahead, and being able to overcome each time, I think it's what's important.
It's a wonderful feeling to be an alumni. You have this connection with other alumni, other students who have graduated.
Not just national, but also it's global scale.
Having a community behind you is probably the greatest thing you can have, apart from your family and friends, because really it's just a bigger version of them.
A family that is now around the world.
We've all come together as one, and we're all going to be lifelong friends.
I just enjoy the moment.
Words can't describe it.
It lasts a few seconds, but you really will remember it forever.
The world is your oyster. You really don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. You don't know what it's going to be the next day, but take every single opportunity that comes your way.
Congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations, graduates.
Welcome to our global alumni community.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to graduates and guests to this very special occasion. To comply with safety regulations, I'd like to point out to you the emergency exits in the theatre. Please take a moment to note your nearest green emergency exit sign to locate the closest exit. As a courtesy to everyone in the theatre, we ask that you please switch any mobile devices to silent. We acknowledge that this is a long-awaited occasion. COVID-19 has likely further extended your wait. The situation has also required us to make some modifications to today's ceremony. To comply with health requirements, please note that masks must be worn whilst in the theatre. Graduates, under this different ceremony format, we ask that you rise from your seat when your name is called. You may remove your mask at this time, and remain standing in front of your seat, facing the stage, while your qualification title is announced. You will then acknowledge your achievement by doffing, that is, tipping your cap towards the Chancellor. You can then retake your seat and replace your mask as the audience applauds. Please note your guests should remain seated. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, we will instruct each graduate and your guests when it is time to leave your seats. You will be exiting in turn using door number 1, and a photograph will be taken of you with your guests. An electronic copy of this photograph will be made available to all graduates to access and share. Graduates, in May, you will soon be sent an invitation to complete the Graduate Outcomes Survey. This survey gathers feedback on your higher education experience to improve the experience for future students. We strive to provide the best possible experience for all of our students, but this cannot be achieved without your important and valuable feedback. We would appreciate you watching for an email to your university account so that you can assist with this important survey. Some of the terminology used in today's ceremony may be unfamiliar to you. To assist in your appreciation of the ceremony, we have provided a history of graduation and an explanation of terms in the graduation booklet. The academic procession will enter the theatre in just a few moments. When the procession enters, we ask that you please rise and remain standing for the Australian National Anthem. At the conclusion of the ceremony, please stand and remain so until the Deus Party has left the theatre. We hope that you enjoy this very special occasion. Thank you.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Welcome and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this very special graduation ceremony. On behalf of the University of Newcastle, I respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Biripi people, on whose traditional land this venue is located, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. As Chancellor of this university and a graduate myself, I'm honoured to be able to celebrate this major milestone in your academic journey. Each of our university's graduates is unique, and it's a big occasion on days like today when we get to celebrate their success. This year's graduates are indeed an inspiration. Before me sits a group of people whose determination and resilience is remarkable by any measure. We all know that the past 2 years have been unprecedented. The pandemic has had a profound impact on everyone in this room, and the crisis came right on the heels of major natural disasters such as bushfires right here on our doorstep, which have already taken a toll on many of our students. This ceremony acknowledges your drive and determination to succeed. The University of Newcastle opened its doors here in the Port Macquarie Hastings region in 2003, and we're extremely proud of the contribution we've made to this region during that time. More than 900 students have graduated from our Port Macquarie campus, and we know that each day they're making a difference in their communities as nurses, primary teachers and midwives. That's not even to mention all the students who study from our other locations and return to this region to work. I'd particularly like to thank our tireless teaching staff for all they've done to help you reach this special occasion today. We're proud of every student, and we are likewise proud of the efforts of our teaching staff to providing the best learning environment and opportunities to help each student realise their potential. Today's celebration of the completion of your studies marks another important milestone, your entry into the University of Newcastle Alumni Network, and you're in very good company. One example is Ashley Gordon, who completed his Bachelor of Education in 1992, and many of you know his name from the football field. He was the first ever signing to the Newcastle Knights, but Ashley Gordon's contribution stretches far beyond rugby league. He's a passionate believer that disadvantage in Aboriginal communities can only be addressed through authentic engagement and collaboration with community members. Ashley is a descendant of the Kamilaroi and Ngamba people from Western New South Wales community of Brewarrina. He's dedicated much of his life and career to work with people who have addictions to drugs, alcohol and gambling, and making sure services have strong connections with community. Ashley is the Executive Director of New South Wales Aboriginal Safe Gambling Services. He's on the National Suicide Prevention Trial Evaluation Committee. He even runs a learner driver program to give disadvantaged Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people access to vehicles and training to get their driver's licence. Our alumni network is vast. Another alumna is Dr. Lee King Chai. Lee King combined her Bachelor of Nutrition and Dietetics in 2013 and her PhD last year, and is an advocate for health equality. She's an outstanding young researcher working to help reduce childhood obesity and improve children's health and nutrition. She's working in Queensland to introduce healthy initiatives in primary schools and to develop play-based technology that helps educate families about nutrition. Dr. Chai has developed a telehealth program using text messages to help improve child nutrition and ensure greater access to services and health advice. This program has now already been adopted in the United Kingdom. Lee King was named Queensland Children's Hospital Precinct Early Career Researcher for 2019. You as graduates are now united with people like Ashley Gordon and Dr. Lee King Chai and the people sitting around you as an alumnus of the university. Our network of passionate alumni and talented alumni stretches across the world, now comprises 161,000 fellow graduates in 152 countries. The network and its chapters offer unique opportunities to connect professionally and socially with other alumni, and I really do encourage you to keep in touch. We'd be honoured if you did, and I'm sure you'd find it worthwhile. Today is the culmination of many years of hard work, and this ceremony is a symbol of all you've experienced and achieved during your time here at the university. This includes an acknowledgement of the support of your family and friends who've been with you every step of the way on your journey to today. To family and friends, we sincerely thank you for this important role that you've played in reaching this milestone. I now call on our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Alex Zielinski AO, to introduce today's occasional speaker. Alex.
Thank you, Chancellor. And good afternoon, everybody. It's wonderful to be back in Port Macquarie. It's been 2 years since we had a graduation ceremony up here, and it's wonderful to be back. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to invite Professor Lee Kinsman to deliver today's occasional address. Professor Kinsman is in his 43rd year as a nurse and joined the University of Newcastle School of Nursing and Midwifery in 2018. Lee grew up in country Victoria and has always worked in rural areas. In his role as a professor, Lee leads research focusing on reducing the unacceptable gap in the availability of health services and healthcare outcomes experienced by Australians living in rural areas. His work is recognised internationally, including 2 years partnering with the Saskatchewan government in Canada to evaluate reforms and reduce emergency department waiting times, and a 3-year exchange program with Dresden University in Germany. Professor Kinsman has published over 130 papers and supervised many postgraduate research students. He's attracted more than $7 million in competitive research funds, including working with the New South Wales Mental Health Commission to improve how health services respond to the needs of people with mental ill health. This revolutionary project has empowered people with lived experience of mental ill health and their carers to change the way that services are provided across New South Wales. Prior to joining our university, Professor Kinsman was Professor of Healthcare Improvement at the University of Tasmania for 4 years after undertaking leadership roles at Monash University and La Trobe University. Professor Kinsman's current role as Chair Professor of Evidence-Based Nursing is a joint position with the Mid-North Coast Local Health District based in Port Macquarie. I'm delighted that Professor Kinsman is able to join us on this very special occasion for our graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Lee Kinsman to deliver today's occasional address.
Thank you, Professor Zielinski. And well done on pronouncing Saskatchewan correctly. I threw that one in there to test you, so thank you. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the Council, staff of the University, families and friends of graduates, and most importantly, graduates. Thank you for the invitation as occasional speaker at today's graduation ceremony. These celebrations are an honour to be part of as we celebrate your achievements. And this is your time. Time to reflect, time to congratulate, time to thank yourself and time to pat yourself on the back. The challenge for a speaker here is how can my words do justice to your efforts? And the truth is that I can't. But I'll give it a go and see if there are some lessons from my 42 years as a nurse and academic that make sense to you and your future. During one of our lockdowns, I had a 40-year reunion of those I did my hospital nursing training with. And you can imagine how a Zoom party of 60-year-old technophobes went. People joined the meeting upside down, video not on, audio muted, cameras pointing at blank ceilings. There was a constant stream of the next generation coming in and tapping a few keys to fix us up, and we had an excellent celebration and reflection on our journey from being quite naive students. One of my own claims to fame was to set a pan room on fire. This was in the days when we boiled urine for testing, and on this occasion I had the flame too close to a bench that had recently been cleaned with a highly flammable substance, and whoosh, up the whole bench went. Unfortunately, one of my clear-headed colleagues put it out quickly with a wet towel. But I, like many of you, would not have gone to university if courses were not offered in my hometown of Bendigo in regional Victoria. I specialised in intensive care and emergency nursing and undertook research degrees in public health. This created opportunities to work across Australia and internationally in places such as Dresden in Germany, Saskatchewan in Canada, the Netherlands and Tuscany. And a common research struggle that I was involved with was to manage increasing waiting times in emergency departments, and something that I'm sure many of you will have experienced. My most meaningful work in this area was researching with the Saskatchewan government, where they had invested hundreds of millions of dollars, but saw improvements in 5 health regions, but not in the other 7 health regions of the province. So our 2-year investigation was to find out why it worked in some regions and why it didn't. And what we discovered that leadership was the key difference between those regions that reduced waiting times and those that didn't. And there are lessons here that are relevant to all of us and all of you because you are leaders. The most effective leadership resulting in the most important improvements was comprised of 4 elements. One was clarity. They were clear about what was to be done, but invested in people understanding why changes needed to be made. This underpinned motivation to change. 2, transparency. Whether the news was good, bad or ugly, leaders would tell the whole truth. This created trust. Inclusiveness. Strong leaders understood the potential of all staff and colleagues and tapped into their wisdom about what will work, what won't and why. This generated respect. And fourthly, the final piece of the leadership jigsaw was visibility, particularly when something had gone wrong. That the leader was seen as part of the team, particularly when things were tough, created a team environment. So out of a rigorous study of why some regions had reduced emergency department waiting times, we discovered that the key was people, not specific models or resources. Clear, transparent, inclusive, visible leadership created motivation, trust, respect and a team environment. And these are elements you can consider for the way you approach your new professional roles and chosen careers. A quite different lesson was learnt during some research I was leading in Tasmania. I was contacted by a medical clinic to tell me they'd completed some surveys for me, and I was to pick them up from the Mowbray Medical Clinic, Mowbray Road. I drove up and down the road and couldn't see the clinic. The same result when I parked the car and walked up and down the footpath. There was the Northern Suburbs Medical Clinic and there was a painter painting the front of the building. So I asked him where to find the Mowbray Medical Clinic and he answered, "This is it, mate. Everyone gets it confused." So I walked in and asked the receptionist and she told me that's true, everyone gets confused, and that the Mowbray Medical Clinic was in the alley behind the pharmacy. So I was walking out to go to the right place and I informed the painter where I was off to, and he loudly responded, and everyone in the street heard it, that he was painting the wrong bloody building. And the only part of this story that's not true is that he didn't use the word bloody. So the obvious lesson here is to turn up to the right workplace. I've now been in Port Macquarie for over 3 years and have experienced a 1 in 100 year bushfire, a 1 in 100 year pandemic that feels like it's been going for 100 years, and 1 in 100 year floods. Next we'll win the Bledisloe Cup. And these have been happening during your studies, making your achievements all the more remarkable. You've adapted, learned, evolved, achieved and overcome in a pandemic whirlwind of Zoom, online, masks, rats, QR coding, distancing, isolating, hoping and homeschooling. And you've gotten through dozens of assessments, hundreds of hours of teaching and thousands of hours of making sense of mountains of information, and met the rigorous standards demanded by your professions and your hard-ass lecturers. Your success is remarkable. So you may actually be the best prepared workforce for this time in history. So, based on my 42 years of work and study, I'd like to finish with a few words of advice as you venture forth with your chosen professions. 1, be kind. Many of the colleagues who are joining will be exhausted. The history of previous epidemics is that burnout, post-traumatic stress disorder and resignations are at their peak 12 months after the end of the epidemic. And this pandemic is far from over. Your understanding and empathy will make a difference. 2, don't stop learning. The challenges we face prepare us with new skills, knowledge and resources to face the next 1 in 100 year challenge. Be open to how we can continue to do what we do in a better way. And 3, trust yourself. You earned these degrees. Organisations will be lucky to employ you, colleagues will be lucky to work with you, and our communities are lucky to have you. This really is your time. So I wish you all the best of luck. Stay safe and take care.
Thank you, Professor Kinsman. A little bit nervous coming up to the rostrum now in case it bursts into flame, frankly. That was a great speech. It really was a great speech. And all I can do is endorse what you've said. I think the community has probably never appreciated the importance of medical frontline workers in particular, as it does today. And to our graduating healthcare cohort and our teaching professionals, Professor Kinsman's advice is extraordinarily strong. It's people that makes the difference, and you're well equipped to be those people. So thank you indeed, Professor Kinsman, for a great speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to a very important aspect of this ceremony, and for this I'd like to ask that all of our graduates, would you please stand? As Chancellor of this university, I now officially confer awards to all graduates who fulfil the conditions for admission of that award. And to the audience, I wonder if you'd join me in applauding the wonderful achievements of these graduates. Thank you. Graduates, if you'd be seated again, please. Thank you. I now call on Professor Amanda Johnson, Head of School of Nursing and Midwifery, College of Health, Medicine and Wellbeing, to present graduates.
Chancellor, I present to you the candidates who have fulfilled the conditions for admission to awards of this university. Graduates, would you please stand as your name is announced? Doctor of Philosophy graduates have undertaken a program of independent, supervised study for the equivalent of up to 4 years of full-time study. These graduates have produced significant and original research outcomes, culminating in a thesis which has been independently examined by external experts of international standing. Today, the university is proud to honour graduates who have satisfied the rigorous criteria for the award of Doctor of Philosophy. Shana Feely, graduating with a Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Feely's thesis is entitled Antenatal Weighing and Gestational Weight Gain. Dr. Feely. Gunilla Hayden, graduating with a Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Hayden's thesis is entitled A Narrative Inquiry into the Experience of Surviving a Cardiac Arrest. Dr. Hayden. Elise Prussing, graduating with a Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Prussing's thesis is entitled Factors Influencing the Implementation of Midwifery Continuity of Care Models in Regional Areas. Dr. Prussing. Congratulations to these higher degree by research graduates. Chancellor, I will now present graduates of postgraduate coursework degrees. Iba Jerry Engwa, graduating with a Master of Clinical Epidemiology. Sarah Clark, graduating with a Masters of Clinical Medicine, Leadership and Management with distinction. Angela Suen, graduating with a Masters of Clinical Medicine, Leadership and Management with distinction. Clemens Masika, graduating with a Masters of Mental Health Nursing. Susan Masita, graduating with a Master of Mental Health Nursing. Lauren Chu Sheik, graduating with a Master of Midwifery Studies. Sandra Everson, graduating with a Master of Nurse Practitioner with distinction. Emma Lane, graduating with a Masters of Nurse Practitioner. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of postgraduate awards. I now present graduates of undergraduate awards. Ellie Mitchell, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery with distinction. Samantha Ward, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery with distinction. Tyler Bloomfield, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery. Renee Brown, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery. Emily Cohenrad, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery. Taylor Fion, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery. Tanya Heim, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery. Holly Morling, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery. Kerry Reid, graduating with a Bachelor of Midwifery. Stephen Bennett, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Jade Douglas, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Cindy Gorman, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Lauren Hodge, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Sharon Lum, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Brooklyn Partridge, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Helen Roberts, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Claudia Tipper, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. Sarah Atkin, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Paige Bellinger, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Elisa Bignell, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Nicola Brunner, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Samantha Cheng, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Amy Cordell, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Sarah Crossing Camborne, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Regan Dowling, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Amanda Dunn, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Georgia Genders, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Monique Jerome, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Jasmine Goodwin Lawrence, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Ruth Halmy, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Storm Hayden, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Emily Ann Hungerford, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Priscilla Hutchinson, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Ashley James, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Caitlin Jamison, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Abby Knight, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Nicole Lindley, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Diane Ling, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Dana Malagan, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Georgia Martin, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Katrina McGinson, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Danielle Murray, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Hannah Newton, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Tara O'Brien, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Samantha Ogden, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Troy Phillipson, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Hanlon Pritchard, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Rachel Roach, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Hannah Shaw, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Rukesh Shrishtar, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Jodie Smith, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Catherine Smith, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Catherine Snell, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Jenna Stevenson, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Ellen Thompson, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Jamie Valentine, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Tanya Ventinti Chingwei, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Chloe Wynne, graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing. Shirley Platt-Jess, graduating with a Masters of Mental Health Nursing. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of the graduates at this time.
Thank you, Professor Johnson. We'll now enjoy a short musical interlude by Ben Levick and Terence Koo, performing The Bare Necessities by Terry Gilkinson. Ben and Terence are both graduates of the University of Newcastle's music program. Thank you. Thanks very much, Ben and Terence. Great piece of work. And the acoustics in this glass house are phenomenal, aren't they? They really are, for performing arts. I now call on Professor John Fischetti, Pro Vice-Chancellor for the College of Human and Social Futures, to present graduates from that college.
Thank you, Chancellor, and good afternoon. Ben and Terence, that's a tough act to follow. Extraordinary. We needed that. Thank you so much. Chancellor, university medals may be awarded to candidates who have displayed exceptional academic ability. To be considered for this award, a graduate must have a consistent record of exceptional academic achievement at all levels of their degree program and qualify with the highest level at that degree. Today, I'm proud to be recognizing such an outstanding scholar from the College of Human and Social Futures. Chancellor, it's with great pleasure that I present to you Lucy Flanagan, graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Primary Honors with Honors Class 1 and the University Medal. Congratulations, Lucy. Chancellor, I now present graduates of postgraduate coursework degrees. Mason Fields, graduating with a Master of Business Administration, a Graduate Certificate in Business Administration, and a Bachelor of Information Technology. Kristen Haviland, graduating with a Master of Business Administration with distinction. Joshua Ryan, graduating with a Master of Disaster Resilience and Sustainable Development with distinction. Thomas McQueen, graduating with a Master of Education with distinction. Sapreet Singh Gosal, graduating with a Master of Special and Inclusive Education with distinction. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of postgraduate awards. I now present graduates of undergraduate awards. Samantha Beverly, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts with distinction. Luke Biddle, graduating with a Bachelor of Education Primary with distinction. Tess Harwood, graduating with a Bachelor of Education Primary with distinction. Tiana Hazelwood, graduating with a Bachelor of Education Primary with distinction. Cordelia Hibbert, graduating with a Bachelor of Education Primary with distinction. Taylon Kinnaird, graduating with a Bachelor of Education Primary with distinction. Lucy Barber, graduating with a Bachelor of Education Primary. Alyssa Mannion, graduating with a Bachelor of Education Primary. Olivia Hulbert, graduating with a Bachelor of Environmental Science and Management with distinction. Rhiannon Lister Edwards, graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Primary Honors with Honors Class 1. Abby Lauriton, graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Primary Honors with Honors Class 1. Courtney Pritchard, graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Primary Honors with Honors Class 2, Division 2. Felicity Paulson, graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Primary Honors. Isabella Turnbull, graduating with a Bachelor of Social Science. Nikki Bryant, graduating with a Master of Special and Inclusive Education with distinction. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates.
Thank you, Professor Fischetti. I'd now like to invite Lauren Hodge, who's graduating today with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction, to speak on behalf of the graduates. Thank you, Lauren.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the Council, staff of the University, families and friends of graduates, and most importantly, graduates. Firstly, I would like to thank Lynn Bowen for putting my name forward and dropping me in it. Thanks, Lynn. As we sit here about to mark the end of this academic chapter of our lives, I would like to take a moment to reflect on the experiences we've had during our time at Port Macquarie campus. Our journey has not been an easy one. We have had adversities of biblical proportions, and yet we have made it. We are here today, and we are lucky. In 2019, bushfires destroyed the land, isolated us from family and friends, and threatened our homes and lives, but we saw it through and made it here today, and we are lucky. In 2020, one little bat brought the world to a screaming halt as lockdowns began. Again, we were isolated and concerned, and were introduced to the now familiar phrases of, "My camera isn't working," and "Can everyone please mute themselves unless you are answering a question?" But again, we saw it through and made it here today, and we are lucky. In 2021, Mother Nature threw us another curveball, this time in the way of floods, with some of us having to evacuate or sandbag our homes. Another isolation, another disruption, another disaster, and once more, we saw it through, made it here today, and we are so very lucky. Apart from these collectively felt challenges and the sad start to our campus closure, many of us also juggled personal wins and losses. There were relationship makeups and breakups, the loss of loved ones and the birth of new ones, illness, moving house, jobs and children, but we're still lucky. We are lucky because we are from a small campus and became one big dysfunctional family. We all came from different backgrounds, had different perspectives, and that helped each of us develop empathy and the ability to consider another's viewpoint. It was rare to be unable to find someone to celebrate our achievements with or talk through our failures. The support network we created resulted in friendships that will last long after our time with the University of Newcastle has ended. We are lucky because we had a faculty and staff who were always willing and available to guide us through our learning, address our concerns, or simply listen to our tantrums. And I should know because I've had a few. Our class sizes were small and always an open forum, facilitating our understanding of even the most difficult of subjects. We are lucky because every barrier, every adversity, and every challenge taught us it is not because of luck we made it here today, but the resilience, commitment, tenacity, and perseverance each one of us possessed that made us reach our goals. The time has come for us not to mourn what we will miss about our university days, but to look forward and set new goals to reach. I do not know what the future holds. However, I do know every single graduate in this room has the ability and drive to shape the world. Whether it is the business graduates strengthening our economy, the environmental science graduates solving global warming, the education grads teaching our children, or the midwifery graduates supporting birthing parents with care and empathy. And as for us nursing graduates, we will heal the sick and injured, comfort the dying, and keep those doctors in check. Let me finish by thanking the staff and faculty of the University of Newcastle one last time for teaching us, guiding us, and supporting us through to our graduation day. Here's to you, here's to us, and here's to our future and whatever that may bring. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren, for a great graduate speech. And I'm sure all of us would hope that if ever we're in need, that you're there in the businesslike fashion that you addressed that speech. I promise I won't give you any cheek. But it is a special place, Port, and I think for all of us, it's been a wonderful period of association. And for people on our faculty here, and you mentioned Lynn in particular, she gives me instructions as well, so we're all in the same boat from that perspective. But it's a great family, and I think it has equipped people very, very well for the rest of their lives and their careers. You have had extraordinary difficulties when you take into account the pandemic, but the ones that hit this part of the coast in particular badly, the fires and the floods. And I know it affected our faculty directly during those terrible bushfire periods. So look, every best wish from all of us for your futures. I'm sure you're in a wonderful position to make a big difference out there. To everyone, I hope you've enjoyed today's ceremony, and I thank you for joining the university community in the celebration of the awarding of degrees. Before I declare the ceremony concluded, though, this time I'd like to ask that the graduates remain seated and for everyone else to stand and join me in applauding their wonderful achievements. Thank you. We've reached the end of our ceremony, but I would invite you to join us for a graduate reception on the mezzanine level of the glass house. And I now declare the ceremony concluded. Once again, graduates, congratulations. Go out and make a big difference. Thank you.